Vogue magazine. This issue of Vogue was published in May 1980, which means in a few months' time, this edition of Vogue will be 43 years old. I haven't been through this edition yet, so I thought it would be a great opportunity for us to explore what fashion and high society was like back in 1980. A bit of a time capsule. So we have an article on sun fashion in Sri Lanka, summer in the city. We get to learn how to make sunshine a beauty treatment. I wonder if that is in line with modern thinking about sun protection and understanding the harmful nature of UV rays. I wonder. We'll find out. A high vitality diet plus recipes for a deliciously thin summer. So I think we're going to find some very interesting phrasing, perhaps some outdated concepts to do with diet and fashion. Let's have a look. So we have something new from Envy. These bags. Something I always loved about 80s fashion was those shoulders. Those power shoulders. I love it. They got a 7-day beauty treatment advert here as well. Helps with overtired, out of condition skin. Well, yes, out of condition kind of makes it sound like we're robots that need to be resurfaced. That's a big old I can't remember the last time I had a look at a Vogue. I wonder if you actually had such an extensive wordy editorial in the editions today. This is a very long piece on a trip. It looks like a trip from Russia to Paris. And this individual's designing the sets and costumes for the new Glyndebourne production of Der Rosenkavalier, directed by John Cox, opening July 5th. So we've got a set designer, a costume designer, Estee Lauder, white linen, a crisp, refreshing fragrance. You see, it's quite interesting actually. I'd say that some of these adverts, I bet, are going to look very similar to the adverts that you'd see today. I mean, there is certainly some fashion that takes its cues from 80s fashion like no other, and it's Dior Essence. Again, these historic fragrances that stand the test of time. Notebook, children, places and parties. Interesting. So there's a segment here of, I guess, celebrities' first children or first photos of them. Oh no, or actually it's an advert as well for photographer Penny Miller, specialises in children's portraits, will come to your house and spend a couple of hours taking up to 100 photographs, one like the portrait below right. £80 including 2 enlargements and printing. £80 I think would have been a considerable amount of money back in 1980. This magazine costs 90p, by the way, 90 pence. So not a lot of money at all. Happy birthday party, Jamie, the younger son of the Spanish ambassador. The Marquis de Baronat celebrated his 5th birthday with 30 friends at the Spanish embassy in London. And named the children as well. That's interesting, isn't it? You wouldn't So this is the child of an ambassador who's gone to a birthday party, and it has taken pictures of the children and named them. Yes, it's I don't know if you'd get that today. It seems a bit strange, doesn't it? Like, who would be particularly interested in the birthday of an ambassador's child? More people's, places and happenings. So you can see already, can't you, how the trend of what people are interested in and who people are interested in has shifted quite dramatically over time. We have here the Lord Mayor of Westminster holding a reception at City Hall with guests such as the Lord Mayor and Lady Mayoress, Sir Geoffrey and Lady Howe, Bishop Kenneth Woolcombe and Miss Juliet Dearmer. And there's some dates here of Princess Anne being the guest of honour at a royal gala fashion show held at the Inner Temple. So yes, it seems like in this day and age, the people's, places and happenings weren't so much celebrity, but people who were genuinely part of the aristocracy or governance. It's interesting, isn't it? Some questions to answer to know whether or not you should have Helena Rubinstein's Skin Life. Does your skin feel dry after cleansing? Does it absorb makeup? Does it feel dry when you wake up? Does it appear lifeless? If you answer yes to at least 2 of these questions, your skin probably needs Skin Life. I can answer yes to 2 of those questions, so maybe I should put in an order. Mappin and Web. That looks quite contemporary to me. As jewellery. Brilliant cut diamond and marquee cut sapphire necklace and earrings. Exquisitely set in 18 karat yellow gold necklace, £6,500. And again in 1980, I bet that is an astronomical sum of money. I'll have to do some sort of calculation for how much this is. Need to be so careful with these pages. They feel like they could split apart at any time. Carpet fashion is tint-on carpets. There's something like a very Geoffrey-like stroke the furry wall. What? Look at that eye makeup. Look at the eyeshadow effect. Looks like bruising. It's very strange to me. But yes, the 80s and shag carpets and fluffy carpets, all the rage. Now it's all about hardwood floors, right? Well, we've certainly got hardwood floors, but Lancome promising us more lovely, beautiful skin. The cost of the plan, less than £6 a month. There we are. I've got a regular plan there to improve our skin. Points of view. Theatre and films. This is a review section. In the early days of the American cinema, the dedicated doctor and the crusading lawyer were the folk heroes of a society that identified the professions with men-sized cultural and intellectual achievements. With increasing skepticism about authority, the current Hollywood fad is to deride the professions as callous, immoral products of a system interested primarily in the fast buck. A doctor is now someone who ranks his golf club membership above the routine of saving lives. The lawyer is depicted in the Norman Jewison's overexcited film, And Justice for All, as a rapacious, unbalanced money grubber who will eventually become a paranoid judge who uses the law to satisfy his own kinky obsessions. The writing is just something that I just do not... The way that is written, it's so verbose. Milton Schulman there has effectively written out some sort of poetry about a social commentary on American professions of doctors and lawyers. It's interesting, isn't it, that you can see so much personality in the writing. I know that quite a lot of magazine editorials these days are effectively just glorified adverts of people paying for PR and kind of giving people copy to just paste into a document, and it's quite refreshing to see such eloquent language in a publication. I wonder if there's any more. Truth from the Confessional. Is this an art book or a gallery? Does Edward Lucy Smith does think of the most impossible, strenuous scenarios for books. Who could have imagined that there was a possible book in the art of the 70s, that dreary non-period on which everyone has been heaping obloquy since it ended? But there is, and a very good one, which will be endlessly useful to students, in particular finding their feet in rather elusive creature context that the late decade has left us with. The contents page will shake them for a start. There is erotic, homosexual, erotic, feminist, kinky, homoerotic, and so on. It reads like the programme of a brothel. It reminds one of de Sade's view that the scenarios offered to brothel visitors will be the great literature of the future, but it is really possible that specifications for erotic graffiti, or gratification, preferably apparent, may in their own right constitute artistic form. I'm reading out loud words here that I haven't seen or heard for a very long time. I feel like I'm getting smarter reading the points of view of Vogue 1980. It's great. More Christian Dior. Oh, quite a racy image there for Jean Bateau. Conversations in the Zoo. There is a lot of editorial content. It's great. You certainly get your 90 pence's worth in everything that you read. Keep Britain Beautiful. Complete range there of new and very beautiful cosmetics from number 7, exclusive to Boots. It's good to know. Would you like your horoscope from May 1980? I'm an Aquarian, so I'll be feeling happy all month, mainly because an important relationship is proving more successful. You're brought closer together by new and exciting projects. Take time, however, to be on your own. Any feelings of being restricted or smothered will only make you want to run away again. There will be a marked improvement in your financial situation after May the 23rd, when Saturn goes direct, and you will be able to spend more money on your home or business. Well, I'm looking forward to May 23rd then. I'll put that in the diary. I'm looking forward to maybe a suitcase full of cash will fall from the sky, and I will be able to invest in my home. How wonderful. Slender tone, I remember that, hearing people talk about it. Does it really work, do you think? Just putting on pads on your body and exercising your figure back into shape while you relax? I think if it were that easy, you'd still hear about them today. Play school party lines. That's interesting, isn't it? It's illustrations. You're not seeing photos. So this is recommending children's clothing, but it's all drawings, which is interesting, and not in colour as well. So apparently we have yellow stitched heavy denim dungarees below, which are £7.99 at Marks and Spencer's major branches. Great. Navy gingham shirt at Harrods, Dickens and Jones, Selfridges, Rackham's, Birmingham, Cavendish House, Cheltenham. You're actually being told the specific shops that they're being sold in. That's interesting. Yes, very strange. I don't know how much you would... I suppose it's just designed to get you into the shop, isn't it? You're looking for items that are what you saw illustrated in Vogue. The Taking of Fulham by Charlotte Decan. The Fulham Road goes further than you think. Strangely enough, it leads to Fulham, no mean town. But if Fulham Road, Chelsea, is an easy amble, Fulham Road, Fulham is an intrepid stalk. If you like walking, workshop for fun earthenware sculpture, but now it gradually recedes. Bratz lost its feet of clay and became the perfect adult toy shop. The small premises are dominated by the extraordinary plaster sculptures of Graham Ibsen, inspired by childhood cinematic and literary memories. How wonderful. I wonder if any of these shops are still there today. Jenny Bell, Bratz, Pollyanna. If you're familiar with Fulham Road, why don't you let us know in the comments if we can still visit Bratz or Pollyanna or Jenny Bell. It's good to know. Check this out, that is very 80s. Look at the colours. Pastel coloured silks for summer. I think they're great. I think you could get away with wearing those today and be pretty much on trend, right? The colours there are fantastic. Interesting material though, right? Silk. A book for water exercises there. Telling us more about the shops. And again, more clothes that you can buy from shops but illustrated. So we get that it's a red and white sailor dress up here. Trying to fit it all in the camera, it's quite difficult to angle it correctly because it is if I do that, it's quite a large copy. Summer finds around the country. Wow, this is literally a list of, what is it? Southend-on-Sea, do day-glow makeup by stage light to brighten the darkest hour. Be beautiful. It's a list of shops. So people have obviously paid to be listed or referred to in this magazine so that people can go and visit. It's like a directory of a shop or a restaurant of what you can get, what you can find. When you only have time for one jeweller, only one jeweller is worthy of your time. Chambay. Interesting arrangement there. Nice little fly brooch. Paco Rabanne. Striking image. Country Matters. Stately Home. Artist in the Country House book. Visiting as a paying tourist is a popular pastime. 300 years ago, the energetic Miss Liebepausen visited many of the great country houses of England as a tourist. In 1776, she noted that 2,344 people had been to Wilton that year, while the thoughtful banker Henry Orr actually built an inn near Stour Head for the refreshment of the multitude who came to see what must have been, even in its early days, the most beautiful man-made landscape in this country. Lovely. Very enterprising, Mr. Hall. Elsev Balsam Conditioning Rinse from L'Oreal. Needs a good condition, not just a shampoo. More country news. I mean, the amount of content in this magazine is quite staggering, isn't it? Here we have an article on protecting peregrine falcons. I seem to recall working through, I mean, I know there are still a lot of advertisements in this magazine, and that's what they're designed for, but modern magazines today, I find that you flick through about 42 pages of advert, and then you finally get to some editorial content. Here it is mainly editorial content with adverts breaking it up. Hotel fare. Bevis Hilliers further peregrinations through the dining rooms of London's hotel. Bit of a write-up in the eateries in hotels. As if in fault to all this concentrated sweet talk, the Westbury staff are, if not exactly surly, not as charming as they might be. The feeling that you are entering a private world, like a small Cornish pub where foreigners are unwelcome, begins the moment you set foot in the bar. I strongly object to the large numbers of tables which usually have reserved tickets on them. One fully appreciates the reasons for booking tables in restaurants, but in the bar it should be a matter of first come, first served. stop preserving tables and bars, people. Clarks. There we are. Interesting ad, upside down. Reflection. Holiday flats. There we are. From 1799 to 1999. Can't get shoes for that price these days, but I suppose at the time that would have been this advert. Things happen after a potato bath, and yes, what is she doing? What is he doing? There's a man outside, rather sinister man by a car, with his hat. The most stimulating thing since bathing began. Interesting, no soft opinion. Dr. Michael O'Donnell meets Dr. Robert Peterson and reviews his own attitudes towards marijuana. This is interesting. My liberal conscience and I had reached a cosy agreement on my attitude to marijuana. I wasn't impressed by the evidence that its users turned later to hard drugs. It seemed no more dangerous than alcohol, much safer than cigarettes. If Sir Walter Raleigh had brought it back instead of tobacco, I reckoned its use would now be legal and we would all be much healthier. Then along came Dr. Robert Peterson and left me feeling a mite less complacent. Since I last looked at the facts, he told me the pattern of marijuana use had changed. Today's drug is sometimes 20 times stronger than that used 10 years ago, and in the United States a disturbing number of children are becoming heavy users. There's no sign yet of the same thing happening here, but teenage habits, good and bad, can cross the Atlantic rapidly. Well, yes, they can. Dr. Peterson doesn't look or sound like a reactionary. He is a calm, meticulous medical scientist and assistant director of research at the U.S. National Institute on Drug Abuse. When he addressed the American Academy of Pediatrics in San Francisco, I was in an intersection of the audience composed largely of young pediatricians, many of whom were regular pot smokers. 10 years ago, most American marijuana users were young adults who consumed a weak cannabis preparation, usually infrequently and typically in small amounts. People then thought pot smoking was a 60s fad, no more likely to endure than the hula hoop. Now it's accepted by many Americans as a normal part of their lives. It's interesting, isn't it? You see these same discussions and arguments taking place today. This is nearly 43 years ago, and you could be reading this article from a medical professional today. Interesting. Talking about whether or not it leads on to harder drug use or not. What's the evidence? Well, it's interesting that the argument doesn't seem to have progressed much from the 1980s. Ribana. Traveller's checklist. Don't forget to take all of these. Yes. Don't forget your diarrhea prevention and treatments, as well as your antiseptic ear drops. Or a mild sedative in case of illness or severe sunburn when sleeping can be difficult. That's interesting. There isn't actually... Oh yes, there is sun creams, it's right there. Yeah, good reliable sun tanning lotion with appropriate sun protection. Interesting. Interesting how it's like, don't get burned under any circumstances. It's, well, if you get burned, knock yourself out with a sedative. Very cavalier attitude to health there. Temporary King's Carnival in Venice. An article there on an event in the beautiful city of Venice. Millennium. Makes your skin look, feel and function younger. I get the impression that this is really for an older demographic, this magazine, this edition, right? It's, I don't know. More on the Carnival in Venice and Susie Smith's real leather handbags. What an outfit. Some strawberries and cream there. Got Pierre Cardin. And you won't get browned off waiting for an Uber bronze suntan. They'll guarantee that using an Uber bronze sunbed provides you tan in natural sunlight and develop a super attractive suntan in around a week. Cigarettes can seriously damage your health. Interesting. That's one of the most artsy, coolest adverts in the magazine. It's for cigarettes. Chloe. A woman does not put on my fragrance, she enters it, says Karl Lagerfeld there. Interesting. Puff Puff. The secret of beautiful skin. This is a whole article on sun tanning. Again, something that you would not find really advertised today, would you? Actively, suntan machines screen out parts of the ultraviolet spectrum to give minimal risk of burning, but they do not entirely avoid the prematurely aging effects of the sun. Here are all the benefits of the different ways you can damage your skin effectively. Bentleys may be alright in black, Roderick, but I prefer stockings in Dove. Quick take from fashion editors. Here we go, more fashion that is illustrated and no pictures. Preppy look, a crew neck, Shetland or lambswool sweater, cotton sweatshirt. I mean, now what is that? What is it? Is a shirt? Is it? No. Preppy looks, full of college clothes with extra Italian style, button-down shirts. I mean, I suppose at the time you'd have an eye for looking at this kind of thing and understanding what it was that you were looking at. I just find it fascinating that it's like a quick police render, isn't it? Like a quick police sketch, rather than an accurate image of that's quite nice. DuPont wallet, holiday snaps, rocking a classic tape Sony Walkman there. Different things to find in different countries, different items. Oh, Triumph as the bra for the way you are. The way you are shows in so many ways. The way you look, the way you act, the way you love, the way you're happy to be just yourself. There we go. Quite an edgy pose there. It's kind of a touch of the Cruella de Vil's about this woman here. You'll get the eye when you try. Cortones dry sell. There we are. Some dresses there. That one. Try Girls in Trestle Jersey Dresses by Radley. Try to be so careful not to. I think some of the pages in the front of the magazine are starting to fall out. Just by me handling them, I want to be careful. Mayday, golden opportunities. Here we have this is the cover article. So here we have careful, Sri Lanka, island sun dressing, candy-coloured cottons, coral gathered trousered, white short off the shoulder. I'm guessing the central editorial is a big deal here because of course it's in colour and they're photographs, not the slightly dodgy illustrations we've been seeing up until this point. Some nice outfits there, and again the kind of things that wouldn't really look out of place today. A coal cotton colourless blouse on this side, and a white cotton very short puff dress. Interesting, that's classed as being very short. I think by today's standards that's relatively long for a short dress. Red pepper silk Tabasco cotton. Lovely Paddy Fields vivid brick and red baggy cotton dress. those are some serious pantaloons. Look at those. Just gonna show you those directly. Looks like something out of Dragon Ball Z or something. A tan cotton collarless shirt, rolled sleeves tucked into an enormous white cotton bloomers, both at Saint Laurent. Those are amazing bloomers. They are great. Look at those. I love those. They're amazing. What a great outfit. Little swimsuit number there. A two-piece, one-piece tube of black and shiny lycra, flaring to frill of skating shirt. There we are. And playing with the elephants there. Of course, top of everybody's agenda in Sri Lanka. Quite a nice, bikini bodice, crimson Bermudas. Nice colours. Kind of watermelon vibe. I mean, that is very obviously a stuffed. I don't know what that is. That's a stuffed toy, surely. Flouncing off in coconut lion country. What a strange image. But with the coconut lions, I'm guessing, what is that? A lion designed out of a coconut. A coconut, 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 coconut. Some more summer outfits here. We're back to black and white now. So interesting how many of the images are kind of out of focus as well. You have to do a lot of guesswork with the detail for a lot of these images, right? A flowered shirt, summer life silks, a white flower printed silk shirt, £226 at Caroline Charles at Beauchamp Place, SW3. There we are. We're talking high-end stuff. Working life best. Day into evening through a working summer in the city. That's a nice jumper. A buttermilk silken wool round necked sweater. To make yourself interesting with the sunbeam pattern, free with sunbeam shantung silken wool, 75p a ball at D.H. Evans. It's interesting, yeah. Do it yourself. I like that. Here are some clothes and you can make them yourself. Looks a little bit like Emma Watson, that model. Black linen fitted jacket. Yes, I love the 80s jackets, like the power, the city workers look. I love all of that stuff. I was born in the 80s, but I was born in 86. So I didn't really get to fully live the 80s, despite being born in it. It's an evocative pre-Raphaelite study of Lady Marjorie manners. Edwardian frivolity and focus. A bit of an editorial on some shots from the Edwardian era. Golden secret: how to make a sunshine beauty treatment. Preparing for a healthy tan, so you can make up a tanned face with the barest, most translucent colours. moisturiser for a healthy sheen and to protect the skin against dryness. And of course we can be sold things like the new Sport Makeup and Outdoor Tan, a sheer moisturising foundation with sunscreen, lips protected with Rose Triumph Polished Performance Lipstick, gloss colour with sunscreen. Eyelashes touched with new Luscious Cream Mascara in water-resistant lustrous black bikini sweatband as the opposite page. I like the sweatband. It's cool. Old school Wimbledon vibe. Like Speedo there. Swimming's one of the best forms of exercises. It uses nearly every muscle in your body. To tone up yours, take a 20-minute swim each day. The water intensifies the sun's strength, so protect eyelids and nose with Clinique's new sunblock. Oh, that's good. So they are talking about proper skin protection there. Pacing out a tan, start the day on the run, barefoot across the sands. How idyllic, to strengthen a leg and foot muscles and tone you up. So it's basically saying turn your holiday into a workout. And these are the cosmetic products to go along with it. I don't know if I could go for an early morning run across the sea, you know. Sea and sun secrets. Did you know that basking in the ocean surf stimulates the circulation and helps prevent the formation of cellulite? Well, there you go. Hair absorbs treatment more effectively under the sun's heat. To revitalize dull hair, massage half a mashed avocado over the head. Pile up your hair, sit in the sun for half an hour, then wash off and condition. A carton of yogurt gives the same result and helps prevent dandruff. For ashy streaks, squeeze a little lemon juice over your head before sunbathing, but only if your hair is not already coloured. Wet and drying hair needs a wide-toothed comb used gently to prevent it stretching and breaking, and to keep damp hair looking good until it's dry, twisted off the face with pretty combs. Well, there we go, some top tips for you there. I bet you weren't expecting those. So get that smashed avocado on your head, or put some yogurt through it. You'll be right as rain. Good health begins with diet. High vitality factors. So this is just breaking down what this is quite comprehensive actually. Interesting. Telling you about high vitality factors and high vitality foods. That's quite good. And then meal planning. What are the recipes here? Mango and prosciutto. Well, that sounds good. Chilled spinach, sorrel and spring onion soup. Herb omelette salad, ceviche, salad muggette, melon with fruit. I mean, that does all sound quite nice. That sounds very fresh, very flavourful. Best Buy scent packing, same trousers plus Sea Island cotton sweater. It's so interesting how many of these images are in black and white. You don't get the colours. And I would have thought that the colours of the clothing would have been, key. A towel material, flocked white toweling tracksuit. Petticoat, t-shirt, silk knit, and the cardigan to go with everything. Interesting. Some more travel elements, travel editorials. Sometimes from a mountaintop in Sri Lanka, one might be looking down on a living enactment of a willow pattern plate. There are the traditional elements, the stylized trees, the birds hung in the air, the bridge over the water, the figures stilled in mid-movement. It's just lovely writing. I just love the writing in this magazine. I'm actually unironically going to sit down with this later and just read the articles because they're just so... I just love how they're written. Here's a guide to holiday reading, so I can add these to your list. China by Sarah Allen and Jerry Barnett gives an historical background to the major cities of China and general practical advice to the visitor. Some novels as well. The Raj Quartet, Sea and Sardinia. masterpiece of the declining fortunes of a Sicilian family ruling during the years of Italian unification. Here are some useful address books. Complete Nail Studio, Super Nail of Los Angeles, based in Sloane Street. Acupuncture accessories. Do little red veins embarrass you? There is no need for you to be bothered with these unsightly imperfections. Okay. Vogue's fashion information, merchandise, some kind of bibliography of it. And a tobacco advert. Again, it's still the tobacco that counts. Players, please. John Player, king size. When he calls across oceans at 3 a.m. My face when. Miss Worth, with the crazy news that hummingbirds and jacarandas can't hold a candle to you, you've only yourself to blame for the romantic world you've created with your new fragrance. Miss Worth. Wow. That was a quick tour through Vogue of May 1980. I hope you enjoyed jumping back in time with me as I rather awkwardly fumbled my way through a magazine, trying not to damage it. I don't trust my hands to do anything delicately, so hopefully it wasn't too cumbersome as we worked our way through this magazine. But thank you for joining me. I look forward to having you join me next time for more whispered